Hello everybody.
So today's video is a very requested video, and I asked Will if he wanted to do this on his own. He did not. He wants me here. So just letting you all know, we are gonna talk to Will about his perspective on the journey that we are on with special needs and disability and having children, and we're just gonna go with a range of just a bunch of different questions. I don't know if they're gonna be in order or just whatever pops into my head, or if he thinks of something. We're just gonna talk about what his perspective is on being a caregiver and dealing with diagnosis journeys and all the things. Are you ready, Will?
Sure.
They definitely want me to ask the questions, so.
I don't know what to say.
It's cool. I think a lot of people.
What do people want to know? I
feel like I've seen this question a lot. What was your feelings on Griffin's diagnosis?
It was a long time ago.
And I can remember it like it was yesterday.
Can you?
Mm-hmm.
I can remember the call, and I can remember getting the diagnosis. I don't think it all hit me at once, you know? I think it slowly, like, sunk in, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we got the word, okay, he has Angelman syndrome, and like I don't think it fully sunk in what that meant,
mm-hmm.
like right away. So I wasn't like, I know like it affected you, and you were like got really sad,
yeah.
And like, but for me, I don't know, it took a while for it to actually sink in what that actually meant.
Do you think it's because when we got the phone call for Griffin's diagnosis, they said they wanted to retest him because they weren't 100% sure because he was considered high functioning for Angelman syndrome child? Do you think that had any part of it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think at that time I didn't fully know what it meant and what it would be. Mm-hmm. And so like it just, I don't know, maybe it was kind of a numb thing. You know, like I didn't want it to affect me, so I just kind of went numb to it a bit.
Did it ever affect you? Like, did you ever have a moment where you were like devastated? Or maybe that's a little strong word for you. He's not that kind of guy. But where it really was like, wow, our lives are now, the journey we thought we were on just literally flipped upside down.
I think like the things that make me like the sad the most about it is that like the things that I would want to do with like my son, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I don't know, doing sports stuff and that kind of stuff, like knowing that that's not really gonna happen. Mm-hmm. Like that kind of stuff upset me more, you know, like the things that I had pictured in my mind of what it was gonna be like to have, like, oh, when we had the boys, I have 3 sons now. It's like, we're gonna have sports teams, like this is gonna be the best, like this is gonna be so awesome. And then finding out that there's something going on, and then it's kind of slowly sinks in all the things that we're not gonna be able to do, that aren't gonna be how I imagined them to be.
Did it hit you more like when things wouldn't happen? Like when like an activity happened with Harrison or the milestones weren't being hit, then it would hit you? Or is it just something that just randomly hit you? Or is it like a moments?
I think they're like random kind of things. Like random moments of different things. Like seeing something, you know what I mean? Like, and then kind of realizing, oh, well, I'm not going to be able to do that with Griffin, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, he's not going to be able to do that. So, mm-hmm. That kind of stuff. Where it would just be a moment I would see something and be like, well, that's not going to happen. And I don't know if it's just me, But like, I probably push feelings down a little bit. Like, so because I don't want to be sad, and I don't want it to affect me that much. So I try just to, I don't know,
Avoid.
to move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like I don't know how it doesn't affect Will, because like for me there are crippling days, but he has always been a pillar. Like you just handle diagnosis, medical issues, stress in a way that I cannot compare, and I don't know what it is, but maybe it is what you said, that you just don't want to feel sad, and I wish I could do that.
I think I try, like, in my mind, because on like for Angelman syndrome and for like autism, I know that there is a spectrum. Mm-hmm. And I think in my mind how I maybe deal with it for myself is I kind of say to myself, well, you know, maybe they have this, but they're gonna be the best, like,
on the spectrum.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, mm-hmm. we're gonna do our best to, like, they're gonna be.
That's what we do.
Yeah, well, I know we do that, but it's like, I hope, you know, I have hope. I'm like, well, they may have this, but they're gonna be the best of anybody that has this, you know.
That's a beautiful way.
And maybe that's not gonna be true, but I think in my mind, I don't automatically go to like the worst case scenario of that diagnosis.
That's amazing. And I know I definitely go to, whoop, it's the end of the world. It's just, we're just very yin and yang in that sense. But again, I think that's why we're a good match, because he can rein me in when I'm having a really hard day, and I can look at him for strength because he's handling it so well. I think that's why people want to know how you do it, because there are other, I think, fathers out there that don't handle it as well, you know? Mm-hmm. And you're handling it so well. I think they want to maybe share your story with other men and maybe your perspective to help.
Well, I think it's, another thing is like, you see like people like, they're like, oh, you know, like I could never do that kind of thing. Hmm. And to me, it's like, well, you don't know what you can do until you're faced with it. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, like, it's not a choice. No. Like, this happened, and this is you, and we're gonna do the best we can with that. Mm-hmm. It's not, there's no choice, oh, I'm gonna leave now, you know, because this is happening. Like, that's not even an option in my mind. Mm-mm. Like, it's just what happened. This is how it is. We're gonna figure it out. And I think that's how I take on a lot of things. You would know.
Yes, you know, I think like it's very true.
If something goes wrong, it's like,
okay.
Or something happens that we didn't think was gonna happen. It's like, okay, well, this is how it is. We got to deal with how it is. We can make the best of how it is.
And you are that way. And I wish I could have that emotion first. My emotion is doomsday, and then I rise to the occasion and I tackle what's in front of me. You don't have the swoop down. You're just like, oh, okay, we're gonna do this. Again, it's a beautiful thing that you have, Will, and a lot of people I don't think have that. In my opinion, I think at least not a lot of women have that. At least women I know, it's a very personal experience, a diagnosis journey. It feels, I know it feels like we're responsible in some way, even though we know we're not. But because we birthed these people, for me at least, I felt responsible. I went through I shouldn't have had soda. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have picked up that. I shouldn't have, all the things. It's not our fault. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it's great that you can not have the drama, you know?
I think a lot of times for myself, when I get news like that, like big news, like kind of like how I said earlier, it doesn't, like, the reality of it doesn't all hit me all at once. Like, it kind of slowly
need
sinks
that
in,
part.
or like I'm not gonna react until like my mind processes it.
Yeah, and maybe my mind just processes it like instantly, and then I have a mental breakdown. Because I mean, we've had so many diagnoses in our life now in the past few years. Like for me, I think probably for you too, it's almost become, I hate to say the word normal, but it's not, it doesn't shock us completely anymore when something's coming up and we're like, okay, you know, wow, here we go again. I mean, if I had to go from like the worst diagnosis was Griffin, he was the most shattering, and then Sawyer, and then I would say Lindy, and then Win. Like it just goes in order of just, I don't know, like you just get better at it in some weird way. But you've always been just so strong in handling these things. And I'm grateful. I really am grateful. So you look at children, like our children with disabilities, and you don't look at it as a burden. Like you're just, you deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, there's not...
I think the word burden was wrong. I'm trying to just, with each diagnosis, for you, did it get harder? Or was it just like for me, it got easier?
I don't think it gets any harder, because in my mind it doesn't really change anything, because like there's a reason we sought out, you know, medical or, you know, doctors and stuff to figure out what was going, because we could see something's wrong in all cases. You know, we know what's normal and we can see, okay, this isn't normal. So just getting a name on something doesn't make it any different to me. Like it's maybe more clarity. Yeah. Like, okay, this is this. There's a reason why all this stuff is happening.
That's
like,
so true.
Because
you all, again, it's a beautiful way to say it, because when you're going through a diagnosis journey, you know something's wrong. Yeah. That's why you're there. And yes, the label can hurt really bad.
And like, it was like, especially like with Griffin when he was a baby, it was more frustrating to keep hearing, oh, nothing's wrong. He's normal. He's, you know, he'll outgrow it. He's just, it's colic. He's just a weak baby. Like these kind of things. That's more frustrating, not getting no answer and getting turned away, than actually getting, saying, you're right. Like there is something wrong. This is what's going on. And then things make more sense. Like,
yeah, as soon as you get the diagnosis, you can start coping, you know? Because I think every parent, even for me, I don't know about you, but you live in this hope land that maybe you're the crazy one and maybe nothing's wrong, but like, you know there's something wrong, but it's a weird mind game. At least for me it was. Like, because we'd have back and forth people saying he's okay, people say he's not okay, he's, you know, developing slower, stop worrying, all the things. So many cases. I have stories up a story, so many stories about all the kids in not worrying about them. It's crazy how you just, in the beginning, you're always told it's probably nothing. But in the deep dark, the bottom of your soul, you kind of know something's really up. But yeah, I do agree. The label is better, but it's definitely, it shatters you too a little bit. For me, it did. Any coping skills has helped you through this? Anything that you've done that helps you through this journey?
I don't think about the what ifs or the why me kind of things, like, because that's just like can be real negative. And
how are we together? I'm kidding.
I just like, because it would make me feel bad if I was like all the time just thinking, why did this happen to me? Why, you know, why does it have to be this way? I try not to do that. Like, not that I don't do that sometimes, because I do it sometimes. But for the most part, like, you have to kind of just accept it. And if you accept it and just
You just accept whatever's thrown at you quickly. You don't have a processing, I feel like. You for some reason, you have a ability to move through it quick.
Like, I accept, like, if I find out, like, I accept right away. But I'm still processing what it means. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is that, okay, that's the thing. And I'm not gonna freak out about it. But, like, I'm still processing, but it is what it is.
But you don't process it and then crash. You're processing and then still coping quickly. Because I could go a rainy day, I could be like, he's never gonna get married, he's never gonna drive a car, he's never gonna go to college, he's never gonna have a house, he's gonna live with us the rest of his life, he could be diapered the rest of his life. That's where I go in a diagnosis.
Right.
And you...
I don't think that far ahead. Maybe that's why.
I'm a future thinker.
Like, I stay in the present. And I'm not, like, I've never really thought about any of our kids, like, oh, they're gonna get married, like, or not get married. Like, I'm not thinking that far ahead. They're still
I want to be
children
you.
to me. Like, I'm thinking the right now, you know.
Yeah, I wish I could do that. I am not that person, but I think we are such a good match because he really grounds me. Because I really need that. Because I'm already to, you know, they're 90 years old. So what's happening?
But I think like those things, it'll be probably when those things are happening, like when they're turning 18 and 19 and like they're still here. Almost. That will kind of be like when I'm like, oh, yeah, this is, you know.
I think
so like I kind of everything doesn't hit me all at once. The things hit me as they come.
See, I get both though. Like I can do the whole thing and then still get triggered by things.
When it happens.
Because like I know when our youngest two will hit things that Griffin and Sawyer don't hit. Because right now they're all so close in age and they're all still tiny, kind of little. We're not hitting big things yet. You know, we're kind of in this middle ground. But I do think when, you know, they have sleepovers or they're driving or they're, you know, dating or I don't know, they're just doing things that Griffin and Sawyer will probably never do. I know I'll get triggered and it will hurt really bad, and it's like a wave, you know. It doesn't happen every day like it used to, but I know it's still gonna happen, and it's just really hard. And all the unknowns, because I mean, sorry, I know this is your thing, but for me with Griffin's disability and having, you know, so much medical things that go on, you just don't know what's gonna happen. And I could sure try to think that he's gonna live till he's 60, 80 years old, but realistically he could pass away before we pass away. And that's a whole other thing to process. And that's where I go. I know.
Yeah, I don't think about that.
You do not.
I just don't. Maybe it's too...
Why I love you.
Like, so that I don't get sad. Like, my brain just doesn't go there.
Yeah.
Like, I stayed in the right now.
You need to have master classes to teach all of us.
I don't know that I could teach any of it.
Teach me your ways. Well, I think that is it for the video. I didn't get like nitty-gritty questions. I think this was the main question I get all the time, Will's perspective on our life and how he deals with all the disabilities and doctor's appointments. How do you like being a CNA?
It's cool.
I love it. He's home. He's home.
Yeah, I mean, being home it was so stressful. Not being here and knowing you were going through so much stuff here, and then it was
a helpless feeling.
Yeah, it was helpless.
Yeah, because it was there's just too much going on, and we're so grateful that this is a possibility. Because if a CNA wasn't a possibility, he'd have to work, and I don't know what our life would look like. It would be unbelievably hard, and it was hard, but Will being home has just changed our lives in so many ways, and I'm so grateful we are here in Colorado. Because we're always at the doctors, we're always doing therapy, we're always doing something for our kids. Like I said before in lots of videos, we are trying to get them to be the best people they can be. you know, before they get to adulthood, so they can thrive. Yeah, I think that is it. If you like this video and you want to do, we want to do another video with Will, maybe we leave comments and questions, and then maybe we can do another video maybe next month. Yeah, I think this was good. I think people get to see your perspective, Will. Was it good?
Yeah, I guess so.
As you can see, he's more the behind the camera guy. He's the editor of our channel, and I'm more the face. But he's in it. You're in it. All right, thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Don't forget, guys, you are wonderful. Bye.
Bye.